Hey guys, welcome back. Really want to thank all of you for tuning in to the videos we posted last week. I was keeping up and I saw a lot of good feedback about what you guys want to see next, and I seen a few videos of you guys actually trying those things. So keep up the good work. That's really awesome. Today I'm going to go over just 3 things really briefly, and just give you something else to try this week, and then make sure you stay tuned for what we have in store next week. Since we're starting a new month, we're kind of playing with the idea of a few different things, so just keep an eye on our Instagram and our Facebook, and we'll get that information out to you as soon as we can. So to start with, for today, the first thing I want to talk about is really important to learn, especially in the streets, and I'm sure you've seen a lot of people do it in videos and stuff, and that is just like it's a walking start. Okay, so you can do like a walking start and a running start. So what I mean by walking start is, instead of starting with your board on the ground and pushing like this, what you do is you're going to start with your board in your hand, and you're actually going to be moving by walking or running to get you that speed, so you can go and do whatever line or trick you want to do. So it's a good way to get more speed, especially once you get used to it. You can really get a good jog into it, and it makes things a lot easier. So the best way to explain this and the best way to start practicing is just doing it nice and slow and following these steps. So if your regular foot, what I want you to do is you're going to hold your board in your left hand, okay? So if you're goofy, it's going to be just the opposite. It's going to be your right hand, and when we get into it, it's going to be with your right foot or your front foot. So we're just going to cover regular right now. So for regular riders, left hand, grab the nose of your board, just like this. Now to practice, we're just going to do a few steps. We're going to talk through the steps and what you're going to be doing along the way. So just to give you an example of what it looks like, I'm just going to do one real quick. So I'm just going to take a few steps. Just like that. So what am I doing? I'm counting my steps, okay? So it doesn't matter which foot you start with. What's going to end up happening is when you're going from your back foot to your front foot, what you want to do is you want to start to lay your board down. You're just going to kind of let your board drag, and you're going to start to lay that down. And what you're doing is you're watching these 4 bolts right here. That's your target. That's where you want to aim that foot for. So I'm going to do it real slow. When you're stepping with your front foot up to the board, just like this, you're going to drop your board down at the same time putting your front foot onto those 4 bolts, okay? So you're always going to be stepping on with your front foot. Your back foot, you're not going to step on first with that. It's always with your front foot. So you're going to take a step with your back foot and then throw that board down in front of you, while at the same time putting your front foot on those bolts. And so when you get started, just try this a few times, just going to set your board down like that and stepping right up onto it. And when you get more comfortable, you can do it a little bit faster. So you just drop it, put your front foot on, and just try it over and over again. It's all about timing. You want to make sure that you're not dropping your board too early and missing it. And you want to make sure that you're not bending over and going all the way to the ground with the board. That's just going to be uncomfortable, and you're going to be off balance. So it's all about perfect timing. You want to drop the board as your foot's coming up on top of it. And so eventually, what you're going to be able to do is go a little bit faster. And it's the same thing. So that's definitely something I want you guys to try, especially if you have space outside, and it's gonna add to your ability and your skill set. So that's the walk-on. The next thing I want to go over is just simple Tic Tacs, and then leading into the Tic Tac pump. So Tic Tacs, as some of you may already know, Tic Tacs is when you're applying pressure to your back foot, and you're shifting your front truck in and out, just like this, right? And we can even do Tic Tac circles, backside, and we can do them front side. So what I'm doing when I'm doing these Tic Tacs is really simple. Your foot placement, back foot, you want to have on your tail because you want to be able to put that pressure in the rear. Notice if I have my foot right here and I put all my weight on it, the board is not gonna tilt up. It's not gonna do anything. So you got to make sure you're behind those bolts on the back foot. Front foot, just somewhere comfortable up front here. I wouldn't suggest going past these bolts. I think that's gonna be a little bit too far forward. I would stay somewhere in this region here, not too far back either, just right in this zone, okay? So my rule of thumb is just aim for these two bolts here. That's about where you wanna be. So shifting your weight is really important. Notice when I do this, I'm not gonna be leaning my body backwards. See how my body's like kind of curving? We don't want that. We wanna always stay centered. Everything's in a perfect line. And all I'm doing is I'm putting my weight into my back foot and picking this front foot up. So it's all in one motion. I'm just gonna push this foot down. And really, I'm very balanced in my back foot right now. That's where you wanna be. You wanna be in this perfect straight line all the way down, okay? So that's just getting up onto that tail. That's like those tail blocks we talked about. Now to actually get the turn into it, we're gonna be using our upper body and we're gonna be utilizing this front foot and aiming it in the direction we wanna go. So if we wanted to go backside or towards our toes, what we're gonna do is we wanna think about bringing this front leg in front of us. So at the same time we go into the tail block, we're gonna also move this foot forward, just like that, okay? Keeping my body nice and straight. Now, if I wanna go towards my heels, it's the exact opposite. Instead of putting my foot in front of me, I'm gonna pick my front foot up and I'm gonna swing it behind me, okay? Now, when you're actually getting into the groove of doing it in circles, you wanna be looking in the direction you're going, okay? So if I wanna go towards my heels, I'm not gonna be looking this way. It's gonna make it really difficult for me because I'm not gonna be able to get all the way around. You always wanna be looking in the direction where you're going, okay? Same thing for backside. If I wanna go this way, I'm gonna be, see how I bring the shoulder in front of me? And I'm looking in the direction I'm going. And if it helps, I know this helped me when I was getting started, use your hand, use your arm as a guide. So if you want to go towards your toes, bring that front arm in front of you. And just the opposite for front side, swing that arm open behind you and point in the direction you want to go. Now, instead of doing it just stationary, we can get some movement involved. So this is where it turns into more of a pump. So when you kind of get the basics figured out, going front side and back side, and bringing that front foot in front and behind you, just like that, now we can kind of get it into like this motion. So we don't want to be doing these big quarter turns, okay? We're just doing little increments, front side and back side, okay? So when you get started doing this, it's just gonna be going back and forth, just about this much. You don't wanna do anything more than this. And you'll notice, if you really get them dialed in, that you're gonna start moving forward, okay? And that's where the pump comes in. So I'm just gonna show you what that looks like. And it's all about timing and getting your front foot to move back and forth in order to pull you forward. It's really hard to explain, but once you feel it, you're gonna feel it. So it's all about just doing it and getting a little bit faster, forward and back. Notice how I'm picking up speed. You could do that, and you don't even have to push. You can just continue to pump your way, kind of like a snake. You're just going back and forth, okay? So I want you to practice those. Get really comfortable doing them stationary. Just work on moving that front foot in front of you a little bit, and then behind you again. And just doing them nice and little and under control, keeping your body straight and everything in perfect alignment. And you're gonna figure that out no problem. The last thing I wanna talk about, and this involves more of just getting your balance right, and these are called manuals. And so there's a lot of different variations of manuals. I'm just gonna do regular manuals. So just for practice, you can just do them standing still. And what a manual is when we're balancing just on our back truck if we're doing a regular manual, or front truck if it's a nose manual. And we're just trying to maintain some balance here, okay? So a few tips to getting your balance right. You wanna make sure our feet's in the right spot. Just kind of like those Tic Tac pumps. Feet are gonna be in the same place. You wanna have your foot flat there on the tail, front foot somewhere in this region. We don't want it to be too far forward and too far back, because that's gonna make balancing harder. Remember, in this position here, we're gonna be most balanced. If our feet are too close together, we're gonna have a lot of trouble and a lot of sway. And if your foot's too far forward, you might not have enough, you're not gonna have enough weight to get yourself up and get that front foot up, so it's gonna make it more difficult. You wanna just have a nice stance just like this and utilize our arms, okay? Kind of think of yourself as like a crane almost. Like you're gonna be using the weight on either side to keep you balanced, okay? So we don't wanna be like this when we're trying to manual, because we're not gonna be able to balance really well. We wanna start by getting those arms up, and then just it's all about just shifting your weight. I'm not gonna be pressing into my back foot. I'm just gonna start to put my weight into it. And that front truck's gonna start to lift up. And the name of the game is just to find the sweet spot. You just wanna find that sweet spot. Now I've been practicing these for like 15 years, and I still have trouble with my balance. And it's just about how much and how often you do these things. So what I want you to do is just practice standing still and just see if you can get that balance down. And like what you wanna see a perfect line from your head all the way down to that wheel that's in front right there. You just perfect line and just try and balance right in the middle there. And I'll be honest, they're a little bit easier when you have a little bit of momentum. So if you're moving and rolling, not too fast, it's definitely gonna be easier to find that balance. So even just getting like one good push in will make a huge difference. Just have a little bit of speed, and then just put that weight in that back foot and use those arms to give you that balance, okay? So just make sure you practice them. They're a lot of fun. If you get bored with it, step up onto your nose. Everything just shifts forward. Foot's gonna be flat on your nose. Your back foot's gonna be right in that same spot. And just the opposite. You're gonna just put pressure and weight onto your nose until it lifts up and try and find that balance. Notice my arms and everything. I'm not leaning anywhere. My body's perfectly straight all the way down. I'm just using my arms to balance, and you just kind of figure it out from there. A tip for if you get more into these manuals, to get the balance really dialed in, you wanna keep whatever foot is on the tail, you wanna keep that foot stationary. Okay, this is gonna be the foot that you use to control everything with. You're not gonna really be controlling it much with here. This is just where your weight's gonna be sitting. Your front foot is gonna be the one that you're moving back and forth to make sure you stay right in that perfect manual. Okay? So I'm gonna practice my manuals now. Looks like we found out that we got another 30 days of this stay-at-home rule. So, like I said in the beginning, just stay tuned to see what we're gonna do next. Keep practicing. Make sure if it's raining, don't go outside. Ask your parents if you can skate inside. And talk soon.